Question 1. A new California resident moves to the state with firearms legally acquired in their previous state of residence. What is generally required for them to legally possess these firearms in California? A. They must register all handguns with the California Department of Justice within 60 days. B. They must register all firearms, including long guns, with the California Department of Justice within 60 days. C. They must notify the California Department of Justice of their arrival and ownership of firearms within 60 days, without necessarily registering specific firearms. D. They are exempt from any registration requirements if the firearms were legally acquired out of state. Answer. A. They must register all handguns with the California Department of Justice within 60 days. California law requires new residents who bring firearms into the state to report their ownership of any handguns to the California Department of Justice within 60 days of establishing residency. This reporting is a key legal obligation for new residents to ensure compliance with California's strict firearm laws, specifically distinguishing handguns from long guns for this requirement. Failing to comply can result in significant legal penalties, so always prioritize understanding and adhering to local firearm regulations. Question 2. Under California law, a firearm is generally considered loaded if A. There is a round in the chamber, even if the magazine is empty. B. There is an unexpended cartridge or shell in the chamber or attached to the firearm in any manner, including in a magazine or speedloader. C. The firearm has a magazine inserted, regardless of whether it contains ammunition or if the chamber is empty. D. It contains ammunition and is not secured in a locked container. Answer. B. There is an unexpended cartridge or shell in the chamber or attached to the firearm in any manner, including in a magazine or speedloader. In California, a firearm is considered loaded if there's an unexpended cartridge or shell in the chamber, or if it's attached to the firearm in any manner, which includes being in a magazine that is inserted into the firearm or on a speedloader. This broad definition is crucial for understanding laws regarding carrying firearms in public, as openly carrying a loaded firearm is generally prohibited. The law's intent is to prevent quick access to a ready-to-fire weapon, emphasizing the importance of keeping firearms unloaded until absolutely ready for use in a safe environment. Question 3. Which of the following is an exception to the requirement that firearm transfers be conducted through a licensed firearm dealer, FFL, in California? A. Transfer of a handgun between immediate family members, parent/child, grandparent/grandchild, residing in different counties. B. Loan of a firearm to a friend for target shooting at an established shooting range. C. Transfer of a firearm by inheritance from a deceased spouse to a surviving spouse. D. Sales of firearms between individuals who both possess a valid California concealed carry weapon, CTO, permit. Answer. C. Transfer of a firearm by inheritance from a deceased spouse to a surviving spouse. California law generally mandates that all firearm transfers, including private party transfers, must go through a licensed firearm dealer, FFL. However, there are very specific exceptions, such as the transfer of a firearm by inheritance to a surviving spouse, which allows for direct transfer without FFL involvement, provided the recipient is not a prohibited person. This exception acknowledges the unique nature of spousal inheritance, but other familial transfers, even between immediate family, typically still require an FFL. Always verify specific legal requirements for any firearm transfer to ensure compliance. Question 4. A California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is valid for how long from the date of issuance? A. 1 year. B. 3 years. C. 5 years. D. Indefinitely. Answer. C. 5 years. A California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is valid for 5 years from the date it is issued. This certificate is required for most firearm purchases and transfers in California, demonstrating a basic understanding of firearm safety laws and practices. It is important to note the expiration date and renew your FSC before it lapses if you anticipate future firearm transactions. Remember, an expired FSC cannot be used for a purchase, so planning ahead is always wise. Question 5. Under California law, who is generally prohibited from possessing firearms for life? A. Any person convicted of a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. B. Any person who has been hospitalized for mental health treatment for less than 72 hours. C. Any person convicted of a felony offense. D. Any person subject to a temporary restraining order related to harassment. Answer: C. Any person convicted of a felony offense. Under California law, any person convicted of a felony offense is generally prohibited for life from possessing firearms. This lifetime prohibition is a significant legal consequence designed to prevent individuals who have committed serious crimes from accessing firearms. While other categories of prohibited persons exist, such as those with certain misdemeanor convictions or mental health adjudications, the felony prohibition is a broad and permanent disqualifier. Always ensure you are not a prohibited person before attempting to purchase or possess a firearm. Question 6. When transporting a handgun in a vehicle in California, which of the following is generally required? A. The handgun must be unloaded and secured in a locked container, separate from ammunition. B. The handgun must be unloaded, but a locked container is only required if transporting across county lines. C. The handgun must be loaded, but stored in a locked container in the trunk. D. The handgun can be loaded and openly displayed on the dashboard for visibility. Answer: A. The handgun must be unloaded and secured in a locked container, separate from ammunition. In California, when transporting a handgun in a vehicle, it must generally be unloaded and placed in a locked container. This container can be the vehicle's trunk, a locked glove compartment, or a separately locked box, and the ammunition may be stored in the same container as long as the firearm itself is unloaded. This strict requirement aims to prevent immediate access to the firearm and enhance public safety during transport. Always remember that unloaded means no round in the chamber and no ammunition attached to the firearm itself. Question 7. A person who loans a firearm to another individual for more than 30 days without going through a licensed dealer, FFL, is generally violating California law unless A. The loan is to a minor for supervised hunting. B. The loan is between immediate family members for specific recreational purposes. C. The loan is a temporary loan of a handgun for a lawful purpose, not exceeding 30 days or any time the borrower is not in the presence of the lender. D. The loan is to a person who possesses a valid California hunting license. Answer: C. The loan is a temporary loan of a handgun for a lawful purpose, not exceeding 30 days or any time the borrower is not in the presence of the lender. California law generally considers any loan of a firearm for more than 30 days to require an FL transfer. However, a key exception allows for the temporary loan of a handgun for a lawful purpose, provided it does not exceed 30 days, and the borrower is in the presence of the lender throughout the loan period. This exception is specific and narrow, intended for supervised activities like target practice. Any deviation from these conditions, such as the borrower taking the handgun away, usually nullifies the exception and requires an FFL transfer. Question 8. In California, what is the minimum age requirement to purchase a handgun from a licensed firearm dealer? A. 18 years old. B. 20 years old. C. 21 years old. D. 25 years old. Answer: C. 21 years old. In California, the minimum age requirement to purchase a handgun from a licensed firearm dealer is 21 years old. This age restriction is a key part of California's firearm laws aimed at regulating access to handguns. While there are some narrow exceptions for individuals under 21, such as law enforcement or military personnel, the general rule for civilian purchases is 21. Always confirm your eligibility and adhere to all age-related requirements when considering a firearm purchase. Question 9. When should a firearm be cleaned? A. Only when visible dirt or debris is present. B. Regularly, especially after each use, to ensure reliability and safe function. C. Only if it starts to malfunction or misfire. D. Once a year, regardless of use, to prevent rust. Answer B. Regularly, especially after each use, to ensure reliability and safe function. Firearms should be cleaned regularly, especially after each use, to ensure their reliability and safe function. Residue from gunpowder and other materials can build up and potentially cause malfunctions, or even permanent damage if left unaddressed. Regular cleaning and maintenance are essential for extending the life of the firearm and, more importantly, for ensuring that it operates safely and as intended when needed. Make cleaning a consistent part of your firearm ownership routine. Question 10. Which of the following is considered an unsafe handgun under California law, making it generally prohibited from being sold by licensed dealers? A. A handgun that does not have a unique serial number. B. A handgun that has not passed specific safety tests and been listed on the California Department of Justice, DOJ, roster of certified handguns. C. Any handgun capable of accepting a detachable magazine. D. Any handgun manufactured outside of California. Answer B. A handgun that has not passed specific safety tests and been listed on the California Department of Justice, DOJ, roster of certified handguns. Under California law, a handgun is generally considered an unsafe handgun if it has not passed a series of stringent safety tests and been listed on the California Department of Justice, DOJ, roster of certified handguns. These tests often include requirements for drop safety, firing pin safeties, and increasingly, microstamping technology. This roster dictates which models of handguns licensed dealers can sell to the public, aiming to ensure that newly sold handguns meet specific safety standards. Always check the DOJ roster if you are considering purchasing a new handgun. Question 11. If a firearm is lost or stolen in California, the owner must report it to a local law enforcement agency within what time frame? A. 24 hours. B. 48 hours. C. 5 days. D. 10 days. Answer C. 5 days. In California, if your firearm is lost or stolen, you are legally required to report it to a local law enforcement agency within 5 days of discovering the loss or theft. This requirement helps law enforcement track firearms and potentially recover them, preventing them from being used in crimes. Prompt reporting is crucial not only for compliance with the law, but also for your own legal protection in case the firearm is later involved in an incident. Make it a priority to immediately report any lost or stolen firearms. Question 12. Which of the following statements about safe firearm storage in California is most accurate regarding preventing access by children? A. Firearms should be stored unloaded, but ammunition can be kept in the same container. B. Firearms must be stored unloaded and in a locked container, with ammunition stored separately in a different locked container. C. Firearms must be stored in a locked container or be disabled with a locking device, and ammunition must be stored separately and securely to prevent unauthorized access by children. D. Firearms are only required to be locked up if there is a child under the age of 12 in the home. Answer C. Firearms must be stored in a locked container or be disabled with a locking device, and ammunition must be stored separately and securely to prevent unauthorized access by children. California law requires firearms to be stored in a locked container or disabled with a locking device, and ammunition must be stored separately and securely whenever children are likely to gain access or actually do gain access. The law aims to prevent unauthorized access, especially by minors, thereby reducing accidental shootings and suicides. This dual requirement for firearm and ammunition storage is a critical aspect of responsible firearm ownership in California. Always prioritize secure storage to keep firearms out of the wrong hands. Question 13. Which of the following actions is generally prohibited in California for an individual to do in public? A. Openly carry an unloaded handgun in a locked container while traveling to a shooting range. B. Openly carry an unloaded shotgun while hunting in an authorized hunting area. C. Openly carry a loaded firearm in most incorporated areas and specific unincorporated areas. D. Openly carry a concealed weapon with a valid CCW permit. Answer: C. Openly carry a loaded firearm in most incorporated areas and specific unincorporated areas. In California, it is generally prohibited for an individual to openly carry a loaded firearm in most incorporated cities and specific unincorporated areas. This prohibition significantly restricts the public display of loaded firearms, reflecting California's stringent regulations on firearm carry. While certain exceptions exist, such as for law enforcement or authorized hunting in specific areas, the general rule is that open carry of loaded firearms is illegal in most public settings. Always know and follow the specific local laws regarding firearm carry. Question 14. What is the minimum waiting period required by California law before a firearm can be delivered to a purchaser after the DRS dealer record of sale is submitted? A. 3 calendar days. B. 5 calendar days. C. 10 calendar days. D. 15 calendar days. Answer: C. 10 calendar days. California law mandates a 10 calendar day waiting period between the submission of the DRS dealer record of sale and the delivery of a firearm to the purchaser. This waiting period applies to nearly all firearm purchases and transfers, including handguns and long guns, and is intended as a cooling-off period. The law is designed to allow time for background checks to be completed and to deter impulsive acts of violence. Always plan for this waiting period when purchasing a firearm. Question 15. If you are cleaning a firearm, what is the safest first step to take? A. Apply cleaning solvent to the bore. B. Point the muzzle in a safe direction and ensure the firearm is unloaded. C. Gather all your cleaning supplies. D. Engage the safety mechanism. Answer: B. Point the muzzle in a safe direction and ensure the firearm is unloaded. The safest first step when cleaning a firearm is to point the muzzle in a safe direction and confirm that the firearm is completely unloaded. This involves visually and physically checking the chamber and magazine well multiple times to ensure no ammunition is present. Treating every firearm as if it were loaded, even when you intend to clean it, prevents accidental discharges and ensures safety throughout the maintenance process. This fundamental safety rule is paramount before any handling of a firearm. Question 16. A person is considered a prohibited person from possessing firearms in California if they have been adjudicated by a court as a danger to themselves or others due to a mental disorder. For how long? A. For 1 year. B. For 5 years. C. For 10 years. D. For life, with limited exceptions. Answer: D. For life, with limited exceptions. A person adjudicated by a court as a danger to themselves or others due to a mental disorder is generally prohibited for life from possessing firearms in California, with only very limited exceptions for relief from this prohibition. This permanent prohibition underscores California's commitment to public safety by restricting firearm access for individuals deemed a significant risk. This is a critical aspect of firearm eligibility, distinct from temporary prohibitions for other mental health holds. Question 17. Which of the following is a key component required for individuals to purchase ammunition in California? A. A valid California hunting license. B. A current California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. C. A point of sale eligibility check through a licensed ammunition vendor. D. Proof of residency in California for at least 1 year. Answer: C. A point of sale eligibility check through a licensed ammunition vendor. As of July 1, 2019, a key component required for individuals to purchase ammunition in California is a point of sale eligibility check conducted through a licensed ammunition vendor. This check verifies the purchaser's identity and ensures they are not a prohibited person, similar to the background checks for firearm purchases. This process aims to prevent ammunition from falling into the wrong hands and is a significant part of California's comprehensive approach to firearm regulation. Always be prepared to undergo this eligibility check when purchasing ammunition. Question 18. An individual generally cannot transfer ownership of more than what maximum number of handguns to another person in California within a 30-day period? A. 1 handgun. B. 2 handguns. C. 3 handguns. D. No limit, as long as each transfer goes through an FFL. Answer: A. 1 handgun. In California, an individual is generally prohibited from making an application to purchase or from purchasing or receiving more than 1 handgun within any 30-day period. This 1 handgun a month law applies to most handgun transactions through licensed dealers and aims to reduce illegal trafficking and deter straw purchases. While there are certain specific exemptions, such as for law enforcement or certain intrafamilial transfers, the general rule is strict. Always be aware of this limitation when planning handgun acquisitions. Question 19. What is the primary purpose of a firearms safety mechanism? A. To make the firearm completely incapable of firing. B. To prevent the firearm from firing accidentally, but it is not foolproof. C. To allow the user to carry the firearm loaded without risk. D. To indicate whether the firearm is loaded or unloaded. Answer: B. To prevent the firearm from firing accidentally, but it is not foolproof. The primary purpose of a firearms safety mechanism is to help prevent the firearm from firing accidentally by blocking a part of the firing mechanism. However, it is crucial to understand that a safety is a mechanical device that can fail, and it is never foolproof. Relying solely on a safety is dangerous. True safety comes from adhering to the 4 fundamental rules of firearm safety, such as keeping your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. Always treat a firearm as if the safety is off and it is ready to fire. Question 20. If a person is subject to a gun violence restraining order, GVRO, in California, what is the immediate consequence regarding firearms? A. They must surrender all firearms and ammunition in their possession for the duration of the order. B. They are prohibited from purchasing new firearms, but can retain those they already own. C. They are required to attend a firearm safety course within 30 days. D. Their Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC, is automatically revoked indefinitely. Answer: A. They must surrender all firearms and ammunition in their possession for the duration of the order. If a person is subject to a gun violence restraining order, GVRO. In California, they are immediately required to surrender all firearms and ammunition in their possession for the duration of the order. This is a critical legal measure designed to temporarily remove firearms from individuals deemed to be a significant risk of causing personal injury to themselves or others. The GVRO is a powerful tool to prevent potential violence, and compliance with the surrender requirement is mandatory and strictly enforced. Question 21. Which of the following is not typically considered a safe backstop for firearm shooting? A. A specially constructed bullet trap at an indoor shooting range. B. A thick earthen berm at an outdoor range. C. A tree or a rock in a natural outdoor setting. D. A steel plate rated for the caliber being used at an appropriate distance. Answer C. A tree or a rock in a natural outdoor setting. A tree or a rock in a natural outdoor setting is not typically considered a safe backstop for firearm shooting. While they may seem solid, trees can allow bullets to pass through or ricochet unpredictably, and rocks are notorious for causing dangerous ricochets. A safe backstop must be capable of reliably stopping and containing bullets without causing ricochets or allowing projectiles to escape. Always choose a backstop that is specifically designed or known to safely absorb bullets, such as a thick earthen berm or a certified bullet trap. Question 22. In California, what is the maximum magazine capacity generally allowed for firearms purchased by civilians? A. 5 rounds. B. 10 rounds. C. 15 rounds. D. 20 rounds. Answer B. 10 rounds. In California, the maximum magazine capacity generally allowed for firearms purchased by civilians is 10 rounds. This restriction, often referred to as the high-capacity magazine ban, prohibits the manufacture, sale, and possession of magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds, with very limited exceptions. This law is a significant aspect of California's approach to firearm regulation aimed at limiting the amount of ammunition that can be quickly accessed in a firearm. Always ensure your magazines comply with California's 10-round capacity limit. Question 23. A firearm owner's responsibility regarding maintenance extends beyond cleaning to include A. Modifying the firearm's internal components for improved performance. B. Only using the cheapest ammunition available. C. Regular inspection for wear, damage, or loose parts by a qualified gunsmith if necessary. D. Storing the firearm in direct sunlight to prevent moisture buildup. Answer C. Regular inspection for wear, damage, or loose parts by a qualified gunsmith if necessary. A firearm owner's responsibility regarding maintenance extends beyond basic cleaning to include regular inspection for wear, damage, or loose parts. This visual and tactile inspection can help identify potential issues that might affect the firearm's safe and reliable operation. If any significant wear, damage, or malfunction is suspected, it is crucial to have the firearm inspected and repaired by a qualified gunsmith, rather than attempting complex repairs yourself. Proactive inspection ensures your firearm remains safe and functional over time. Question 24. What is the correct procedure for handling a firearm that has a squib load, a weak charge resulting in the bullet lodging in the barrel? A. Immediately attempt to clear the chamber and fire another round to push it out. B. Field strip the firearm and try to push the bullet out from the muzzle end. C. Stop immediately, clear the firearm, and seek assistance from a qualified person or gunsmith to remove the obstruction safely. D. Continue shooting, as the next bullet will likely clear the obstruction. Answer C. Stop immediately, clear the firearm, and seek assistance from a qualified person or gunsmith to remove the obstruction safely. If you suspect a squib load, where a bullet lodges in the barrel, the correct and safest procedure is to stop shooting immediately, ensure the firearm is cleared and unloaded, and then seek assistance from a qualified person or gunsmith to remove the obstruction safely. Attempting to fire another round with an obstructed barrel can lead to a catastrophic firearm failure, potentially causing severe injury or death. Always prioritize safety over attempting a quick fix. A squib load is a serious and dangerous malfunction. Question 25. Under California law and FFL. Federal firearm licensee. Dealer is generally prohibited from completing the sale of a handgun unless the buyer presents A. A valid California driver's license or ID card and a valid California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. B. A valid California driver's license or ID card and proof of residency in California for at least 1 year. C. A valid California concealed carry weapon, CTO permit. D. A valid California hunting license and a firearm safety certificate, FSC. Answer A. A valid California driver's license or ID card and a valid California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. Under California law, an FFL. Federal firearm licensee. Dealer is generally prohibited from completing the sale of a handgun unless the buyer presents a valid California driver's license or identification card and a valid California Firearm Safety Certificate, FSC. The FSC verifies that the individual has passed a written test demonstrating basic firearm safety knowledge, while the ID card is crucial for identity verification and residency confirmation. Both are essential requirements for purchasing a handgun in California.